Stop. You're probably wondering how I got into this situation. At the time, I was a little too stupid to know there was a dangerous storm approaching. So, I took it upon myself to learn how to detect one and avoid something like this from ever happening again. Let me show you. First things first, there are two main radar views you need to care about. Reflectivity on the left, which shows rain, hail, and storm structure, and velocity on the right, which shows wind movement, the important one for tornadoes. Alright, this is what everyone talks about, the hook echo. It looks like a little hook or a comma shape on radar, usually on the southwest side of the storm. But why does it matter? Because it means the storm is rotating, and that's one step for tornado formation. But, and this is important, not every hook echo means there's a tornado. It just means the storm is thinking about it. Now we get to the good stuff, velocity radar. Greens show wind moving towards the radar, and reds show winds moving away from the radar. The brighter the color, the stronger the wind. What you're looking for with a tornado is something called a velocity couplet, basically red and green right next to each other. That means air is spinning. And if that rotation gets tight and strong enough, you've got a tornado signature. Alright, so now that we know velocity shows rotation, here's how you can connect it back to the storm. On reflectivity, you can see this hook shape. That's where the storm structure suggests rotation. Now switch to velocity on the right, and in that exact same spot, you'll see a red and green couplet. When those line up, you're looking at the same feature in two different ways. Reflectivity tells you where to focus, and velocity confirms that the air is actually spinning. When both are aligned like that, it's a strong sign you're dealing with a potentially tornadic storm. Finally, specifically for tornadoes, look at the bottom right. That's the correlation coefficient, or CC. This tells us how uniform the particles in the air are. Rain is usually consistent, so the CC stays red. But when a tornado is picking up debris, like wood, dirt, and pieces of buildings, the colors start to become cooler, and the strongest of tornadoes being a deep blue circular shape. That area is a sign the radar is seeing debris instead of just rain. Right here in this specific picture, you can see that the drop in CC is lining up with the rotation we saw in velocity and the hook on reflectivity. That means the radar isn't seeing just rain, it's picking up a mix of debris being lofted up in the air. When all of that lines up, it's one of the clearest radar signs that a tornado is actively on the ground. So there you have it. That's how to tell if there's a tornado on radar, starting with the reflectivity and then moving into the velocity, seeing if there's a couplet, and then finally going into the correlation coefficient to see if there's a drop and to see if there's debris in the air. So once you start putting all these together, radar actually stops looking random and actually starts to tell a story about what's going on with the storm. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully next time you guys open radar, it makes a lot more sense.